Alright, once again, I want to give all praises to Yahawah, bahasham, Yahawashi, double honors unto the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, and salutation to you brothers out there that's spreading this word in truth and in sincerity. I want to do a little quick video here on the understanding of fornication, because a lot of people mistakenly or ignorantly think that fornication is sex between two unmarried persons or sexual intercourse between two unmarried persons. But according to the scriptures, fornication. Alright, let me jump to it. Bring out this first precept. Colossians chapter 3 verse 5. It says, "Mortify therefore your members which are upon the earth, fornication, uncleanness, inordinate affection, evil concupiscence, and covetousness, which is idolatry, for which things seek the wrath of the Most High cometh on the children of disobedience." It says mortify. Go to that. Find out the serious meaning of mortify. It says to make dead, to put to death, to slay, worn out, to deprive of power, destroy the strength of. So to put to death or kill those members of the which are upon the earth, which is fornication, uncleanness, inordinate affection, evil concupiscence, and covetousness. So you have to put them members to death. You have to purify yourself, cleanse yourself. Yeah, so it's a fornication. Fornication means the first one. Let me go to fornication. Greek word for fornication is porne. It says illicit sexual intercourse, adultery, fornication, homosexuality, lesbianism, intercourse with animals, etc. It says sexual intercourse with close relatives, Leviticus 18. Go to that. Now go to that just now. It says sexual intercourse with a divorced man or woman. Then it says the worship of idols, of the defilement of idolatry, as incurred by eating the sacrifices offered to idols. So the real meaning here is adultery, homosexuality, lesbianism, intercourse with animals like bestiality, and sexual intercourse with close relatives. That is illicit sexual intercourse, and illicit means unlawful. Unlawful sexual intercourse. Having sex before marriage, as Yahawah says, not an unlawful sexual act. Because let me go to the scripture, Genesis 24. Verse 60. Verse 60. I'm gonna start at verse 62. It says, "And Isaac came from the way of the well Yahawah, for he dwelt in the south country. And Isaac went out to meditate in the field at eventide. And he lifted up his eyes and saw, and behold, the camels were coming. And Rebekah lifted up her eyes, and when she saw Isaac, she lighted off the camel. For she had said unto the servant, What man is this that walketh in the field to meet us? And the servant had said, It is my master. Therefore she took a veil and covered herself." So this year, even though we're not dealing with this year showing respect too for from the woman to the man, she take her veil and cover herself. And the servant told Isaac all the things that he had done. And Isaac brought her into his mother's tent, his mother Sarah's tent, and took Rebekah, and she became his wife, and he loved her, and Isaac was comforted after his mother's death. And we see here that Isaac really didn't go in and propose to no woman. He didn't go in and propose to Rebekah and tell her, I want you to be my lawfully wedded wife and that kind of shit. Isaac went in and they had sex in the tent. There was no church ceremony, no big proposal. So that day could never, that day proven that sex before marriage is not fornication. Sorry, fornication is not sex before marriage. And I'm going to go to the scripture. Go to the scripture, Matthew 19 verse. I'll start at 7 at the same. I'll start at 7. It says, they say unto him, why did Moses then command to give a writing of divorcement and to put her away? Verse 8, he said unto them, Moses, because of the hardness of your hearts, suffered you to put away your wives, but from the beginning it was not so. And I say unto you, whosoever shall put away his wife, except it be for fornication. So you see that it says, who shall put away his wife, except it be for fornication, and shall marry another, committed adultery, and whoso married her which is put away doth commit adultery. So let me go back to the top. It says, whosoever shall put away his wife, except it be for fornication. So how a married woman then could commit fornication if fornication is sexual intercourse between two unmarried persons? So it cannot be that. It cannot be that. Because the scriptures say, whosoever shall put away his wife, except to be for fornication. So I can have my wife and she committed fornication if fornication is sexual intercourse between two unmarried persons. I ain't making no sense. Go to the scripture, Jude chapter 1 verse 9. No, verse 7. It says, even as Sodom and Gomorrah and the cities about them in like manner, giving themselves over to fornication and going after strange flesh, are set for an example, suffering the vengeance of eternal fire. So it says, even as Sodom and Gomorrah and the cities about them in like manner, giving themselves over to fornication. And Sodom and Gomorrah and the cities surrounding weren't destroyed for people who was having sex before marriage. They were destroyed for homosexuality and these sort of unlawful sexual acts. Homosexuality, unlawful sexual acts are homosexuality, lesbianism, bestiality, incest, adultery. And the Sodom and Gomorrah was destroyed for homosexuality, man lying with man, woman lying with woman. So then why it say giving themselves over to fornication? Because fornication does not mean sexual intercourse between two unmarried persons. It means unlawful sexual acts, which is incest, homosexuality, bestiality, adultery, and it could also fall into the bracket of spiritual adultery, which is idolatry, which is the worshipping of idols or images or statues, bowing down before other gods, which the Most High commanded us not to do. That could go down under fornication too, spiritual adultery. Because Israel and Judah are Israel, Yasharala is the Most High's wife. So we going and worship other foreign strange gods will be spiritual adultery. Bring this last precept here. Acts chapter 15 verse 20, it says, "But that we write unto them that they abstain from pollutions of idols, and from fornications, and from things strangled, and from blood." So you wanted them to stay away from the idols, the things strangled, from blood, from fornication. Jump down to verse 29. It says, it says the same thing. It says that he abstain. Start from verse 28. It says, "For it seemed good to the Holy Spirit and to us to lay upon you no greater burden than these necessary things, that ye abstain from meats offered to idols, and from blood, and from things strangled, and from fornication, from which if ye keep yourselves, you shall do well. Fear ye well." So how sexual intercourse between two unmarried persons fitting in there? Because sex is marriage. Sex is marriage. So sex before marriage could never make sense. Sex before marriage could never make sense because sex is marriage. When Isaac had sexual intercourse with Rebecca, they became married. They became one flesh. The two became one flesh. It had that bond, a spiritual bond. The two flesh became one flesh. They became married. And that is marriage, the sex. If it have no sex, it could never have marriage. You could never go and have no ceremony or no ceremony in church and put a ring on a woman's finger, or she put a ring on your finger, and say that act is marriage. The marriage incomplete till they have sex. So sex before marriage really making sense. Once a man have sex with a virgin or a maid, they are married. So two of them having sex could never be fornication. Alright? But with that, I will close off and I'll say, all praises to Yahawah, bahasham, Yahawashi. Double honors unto the elders and apostles that continually feed us and strengthen us in this word and rule well. And peace and blessings out there to you, brothers, that spreading this word in truth and in sincerity. And with that, I want to say shalom.